The Banowetz Podcast.
Okay, welcome back to the Banowetz Marketing Podcast. We're so excited you're here, and I am very pumped for our guest today. Joe, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, my name is Joe Divoky, and I actually went to high school with Sarah, so blast from the past. Right?
I know, and we haven't even seen each other since high school.
No, we haven't.
This is exciting. And one of our best friends is the same person, Stacy Font. So
yes, memories, memories, and we might go down that road later. You never know.
Yes. So what are you doing now, Joe?
So I'm actually in Iowa City as an elementary principal.
Okay.
And so kind of keeping busy with that, and plus do a little bit of farming on the side, and do a little bit of health coaching and lifestyle coaching, and not needless to say, a lot of irons in the fire. No, what is that word? You know what I mean? So,
I know irons in the fire.
Is that the right term? Yeah. So a lot of things going on and lots of plate spinning, and it's a lot of fun. So
awesome.
Yeah.
You grew up in a farming family, right?
I did. Yep.
Okay.
I born and raised on a dairy farm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we grew up in Solon, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And Solon is very much, we were just talking about this, very much, there's a lot of business families that own their own businesses, which was the family I grew up in, and then a lot of farming families, and
which is what I grew up in.
Yeah, farming family.
Yeah, and it's funny because I grew up on a dairy farm, so if you don't know much about dairy farm, it's like you're tied to being on a farm every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was up milking cows, and then went to school, was at school all day, did activities. I mean, I was in sports, I was in music, I did all that stuff, came home, did it at night again, did it all the next day. Hated it. I mean, but I will tell you, it like taught you a lot of good life lessons, you know, I mean,
work ethic.
Yes. Yep. And I really think, you know, looking at some of the things that I do today, like, you know, my commitment and I'm like, you know, you got to really structure and focus your time. Like you don't have a lot of time when you're dairy farming and stuff. So, which is really funny because I always said, you know, when I graduated high school, they're like, my dad actually offered to pay for, you know, if we went to Kirkwood or the University of Iowa, we would pay for it if we'd stay home and help do chores. And I'm like, nope, none of my brothers took him up on that. So, but I will tell you this, 2 of us now, actually, now that we're grown up and have our own places, we have like hobby farms, if you want to say.
Okay.
So you could take the boy out of the farm, but you can't take the farm out of the boy, if that makes sense. And so I do some farming now today, and we raise some show horses, and I raise a few cows, and kind of keep busy with all that stuff.
So what about vacations then? Do you get to go on vacations?
Yes. So this makes it a little bit easier to go on vacations.
Okay.
Growing up, you know, we didn't do vacations. Our vacations were, and you know, I think part of it, it's not just the farming stuff that kind of, you know, kept us from the vacations. It was, you know, I grew up in a, you know, at the time I thought like, oh, we have everything we need. But looking back, I'm like, you know, we grew up in a very, I don't want to say poverty, but we grew up in a situation where we didn't really have everything that we needed, if that makes sense. Now that I know more and more about, you know, kind of talking to my mom and stuff. But anyway, so a lot of vacations for us, which seemed like awesome vacations at the time, were like spending a night in a hotel, like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So, plus then we still had to get up and go do chores the next morning. So, but no, I do go on vacations a lot. And actually, I think that's part of what this has like inspired my love to travel, is because we didn't do it much as a kid. And so, so the good thing about what I do now with the farming and everything is, you know, somebody can take care of that. It's pretty easy to do. But then like, you know, elementary principal, I have vacation. So I have people that kind of take over for me when I'm gone. And then my health coaching and lifestyle coaching, I can do that anywhere. As long as I have my phone, internet access, I can do that. So I do a lot of it during, you know, the winter months and stuff from beaches and stuff, because I'm like a warm weather person.
There's a lot of people out there who are doing that now.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Yep.
So living the laptop life.
I know. It's I think, you know, when we think back to when we were in school, you know, I mean, we won't say the year that we graduated because it's almost 20 years now, which is hard to believe. But
you keep talking about this on Facebook. I'm like, no, we're not that old.
I know.
We're closer to 35 than 40.
That is true.
We may be closer to 40 than 30, but we're still closer to 35.
We are. And that's, you know, and it's, you know, I think a lot of times as we start to grow up, we're like, oh, I don't want to, 30's old. Like, let's put it this way.
Yeah, 30 was hard.
Like when kids are like, how old are you? And I'm like, well, how old do you think I am? Oh, you got to be at least 30. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I am 30 and I'm proud of it, you know, but I thought, you know, sometimes they're going to say, oh, you know, you're 80 or you're 90. And it's like, it's that perception of what is old. Like for kids that are, you know, 5, 6, they think that, you know, 15 is old.
Yeah.
And to be 15 again.
Yeah.
Or no, not really, probably. But anyway.
Okay, Joe, tell me, okay, your family, one of 3 children. You're the middle child, right?
I'm the middle child.
Okay.
Explains a lot.
So brother and sister?
2 brothers.
2 brothers.
Yes.
Family of boys.
Yes. My mom was the only girl.
Okay.
God bless her soul. I don't know how she did it.
And then your family now. So you have a husband.
I do. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yep.
Okay.
So on top of that, not only do we have all that stuff, we also have a carpet cleaning business. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That's kind of his business.
Okay.
And so I help with that sometimes. So you might see pictures of me on Facebook pulling carpet hoses on my free time. So yeah, again.
So you need to give a shout out to it.
Superior Carpet Clean.
Okay.
Yes. So he was actually cleaning right by your parents' house today.
Oh, okay.
For Tom Hollab. So
nice.
yeah. So we're always something to do. So
how do they find like website, phone?
You can
anything?
go to Facebook. He's got a
Okay.
Facebook page, Superior Carpet Clean, and actually I can't even tell you the phone number right now because
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah,
I have it
that's fine.
saved in my phone, but yeah. Maybe at the end I can get it out when we can get
Awesome.
that.
Well, we can
do
link
a
to
show.
it too, so
That's
it'll
true.
be fine. Yeah.
Perfect. Yep. But yeah,
Perfect.
nope. So we live in Solon and do all that, and
No kids yet.
no. And I don't know if that day will come. I have, like I said, I have about 400 of them at school every single day, and
Yeah, you have a lot of kids. Then.
I do, and we have a 2-year-old Saint Bernard
Okay.
who is like a small child himself, but he's really
Yes.
180 pounds. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I understand because I have 6 kids and 2 dogs, and
Yeah.
the dogs follow me everywhere.
Yeah.
They're like toddlers that
Yeah.
never grow up.
Benson thinks he is a lap dog. Benson, yeah. He
Now my dog is a lap dog and thinks that she's like a Saint Bernard.
oh
I mean, it's amazing. She's still alive. Not joking. I said that to my husband. She almost got her neck torn off the other day from a bigger dog because she just thinks she's just so big and powerful.
Yeah.
She's going to intimidate these big dogs. And they're like, hey, you're an appetizer.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
mentioned to my husband the other day, I was like, Tori literally almost just got killed. Like the neighbor just pulled the dog back up right at the perfect timing.
Yeah.
And Matt goes, doesn't she like almost get killed like every other day? I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. She's still alive.
Because we have 2 small ones too, and they think they're 2 Chihuahuas, and then one of them thinks it's like this king dog. They're both girls, but one thinks it's like this massive beast. The other one is like your stereotypical dog that'll yip at you and like. But the thing is, like the dog, the Saint Bernard wants to play, and the little ones don't want to play. So the one thing that will play with it is the cat, and the cat like can beat up on this dog. So it's kind of fun. I should like start chronic.
You should start an
chronicling or whatever.
Instagram
Yeah.
page for the pets.
I should.
Or from the perspective of the cat, maybe.
That is true. Her name is Lulu, and she's an interesting one herself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
You should do that.
It's never a dull moment at
The
house.
marketing person in me tells me you should do that. And then you could they could talk about the carpet cleaning business and then so this is perfect segue too.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your health and coaching.
Yeah. So that actually was something that kind of fell in my lap, if you want to say.
Okay.
So it all started with me like being, somebody that's been pretty unhealthy my entire life. I mean, I struggled with weight in high school and then in college put on, a lot of times people say the freshman 15. It was more like the freshman 50 for me. And then about, some more after that. So I'm 5'6". And so when I was at the heaviest I ever was, I was at like 240 roughly.
Okay.
So pretty unhealthy. Like people look at my pictures back then, like, that's not you. And I'm like, yes, it is. Trust me. I always tell the story. I always tell these 2 stories. One, my passport literally looked like a basketball. And so when I had lost a little bit of weight, the people, when I was trying to leave Poland to come back to the United States, they kept looking at me and they're like, I'm like, it's me. I've lost a little bit of weight. And they're like, yeah, we can tell. But, and then and the one thing that always, I worked when I was in Cedar Falls at the I worked at the bookstore, and my mouse pad was always the BMI index. And so it always like stared at me saying, you're obese, you're obese, you're obese.
Okay, that would be tough.
It was. I mean, because every time like, okay, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be at, but this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen because I was always like, I'm big boned. And so, and it was just funny kind of like one year I got sick, in college and, lost about 10 pounds just because I couldn't eat. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. And so I started like watching what I eat. And by that, I mean like not going to McDonald's every day and not ordering a medium pizza and eating it myself. But then I just started like working out a bit and I kind of got down to about 170-ish. So I lost quite a bit of weight and not where I wanted to be, but I felt better. So I kind of got complacent and kind of just stayed there, and I was okay with that because I was, again, better than I was, but not where I wanted to be. And then when I started working as a principal, I mean, like a lot of jobs, there's a lot of stress. And I've got some amazing staff members who like to bake. And I would come into my office and there'd be like cupcakes and pieces of bread. And I'm like, but I can't turn it down, So I ate it and I ate it and I ate it. I mean, if you look, I think there's a picture on my Facebook somewhere. You look at like my school IDs. It's like every year as it progresses, it's like I probably put on about 10 pounds or so every year. And so about 2 years ago, I had my second rotator cuff surgery.
Okay.
And for some reason, I thought it'd be a great idea to step on the scale. And I got really I'm like, oh my gosh. And so, because I was back up over 200 pounds. And I think one of the things that was, kind of the tipping point for me is like the clothes that I was in before surgery were starting to not fit and I needed bigger clothes. And to me, that was the size that meant being at my heaviest, again. And I'm like, I can't do it. So I saw my cousin, who actually lives in Texas, was having some awesome results. And so I reached out to her and kind of just started my own health journey with just watching what I couldn't exercise. So it was all food. And within about 3.5 months, I lost 65 pounds.
Wow.
More than I ever thought that I was ever going to. I just wanted to lose 20 pounds, which is kind of what I gained.
And that was with just watching your diet.
Just watching what I eat. So
Okay.
a very structured eating plan, where I didn't have to like count anything. I just had to eat 6 times a day. And then, like I said, I lost. What I wanted to do was just, lose 20, but it ended up being, for the first time in my life, I've been at a healthy BMI. If I look right on that BMI index, I'm right where I need to be, which is kind of a great feeling. And just the confidence feeling, and just the way I feel. And, I'm happy. And I think, I post a lot on my social media accounts. Like if you ever look at that, just about how, on the outside, I probably looked really, really fine. People saw a happy person, but inside I was like, I'm not worth anything. Like I'm, very unhealthy and just very negative. And I think a lot of people, when your health starts to suffer, that's kind of where your mind goes. And so for me, a couple things that were really beneficial for this, not only the weight loss. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's amazing. And it's just, I feel better than I ever have, but it's more of like, I'm working on my mindset and how I actually see myself, and so I actually did a post this morning about, the person that I see in the mirror now is somebody I actually I like who I'm becoming. Whereas before we see our reflection so many times a day and I just would head down and not even look at it before because I just didn't like the person that was in there. And it's more of what was in my head, not what was actually on the outside. And so when I started seeing myself change, I was like, I know so many people that probably have the same feelings, whether it's about physical health or I say mental health, but I mean more of like a healthy mind, kind of just that self-perception of themselves. And so that's what kind of that's what kind of prompted me to want to share this with other people. So I started, kind of sharing my story and people would reach out to me and say, what did you do? And I said, they're like, what diet did you do? And I said, I'm not doing a diet. Like I've done diets before. Diets don't work because they don't teach me anything. They don't teach me how to get the nutrition right. They don't teach me how to get the mind right. They don't teach you all that stuff. You need a supportive community. And that's one of the things that this journey has given me. And like I said, I'm going to a convention for other health coaches that I, work with down in Orlando in July. And that's my family, I've got my family, but this is my other family, and it's like, so I look forward to that because I'm around people that have similar visions and goals and things like that. And so I've been coaching people on their own health journey and life journeys, lifestyle journey with their nutrition and exercise and things like that for about 2 years now. And I've actually maintained my weight loss for 2 years that whole time, which has never happened, And so for me,
well, and that's the hard, I've heard that's the hardest part, right? Is to maintaining.
Yeah. And I think the reason what makes this, different than diets that, because a lot of people are like diet. It's diets don't teach you the habits and things that you need to be successful. Whereas that's what I learned and that's what's allowing me to be successful. And that's what I'm sharing with other people. And so, I just, I say this because it's like, when I talk about worth and value and things like that, that I probably didn't that was, again, my own thoughts. Nobody ever told me that, that I'm aware of that I was worthless or, had no value, but it's like, through this, I've seen that, I love serving people. That's my kind of my calling, that's why I'm in education. I serve the kids that I work with and I work in a very at-risk building. So these are kiddos that, are coming to us with a lot of trauma actually in their lives. And so being able to serve them and help them have a positive experience and then also know that they are worth something and that there's more to life than maybe what they've experienced. And so same thing for the people that I help with the coaching is, I want them to see that they are worth something, that, their story does matter, and we want to help them see that themselves and share it with others. So there's a system that we use that I keep track of things, and between myself helping, actual people on their own journey or helping people that have become coaches themselves in their own journey. To this point, about 800 people I've had a help impacting. And so it's been
That's amazing.
It is. And I never would have imagined. in 2
Less
years.
than 2 years.
Yeah. And so it's been awesome. And I have noticed myself like just changes, not only in my physical health, but just who I am as a person. I mean, I find myself being more, we were talking about this earlier. I mean, I'm an introvert by nature. Like I'm hugely introverted, and that's how I always have been. So, but I find myself becoming more of an extrovert in situations, and knowing that I have to push myself outside of that to have an impact on people. Because if I'm not willing to share my story and, and reach out to people, they might not make the changes that they need. And, one of my mentors always tells the story of kind of how he kind of was the same thing. He had an awesome story and was kind of like, there's all these people that he thought about. Like, I'm like, oh, Grandma Sue or whoever, could really. I
actually had a Grandma Sue. I'm sorry.
I did not have a Grandma Sue. I think I had an Aunt Sue, like great aunt or something. But he always tells the story of how there was these people that he always wanted to reach out, but he was scared to. And he was like about ready to call this person and say, hey, I've been thinking about you. And that's it. Not, hey, I've been thinking about you. You really need to go on this journey, but I've just been thinking about you. And the day he was going to call, he got the news that person had actually passed away from, very poor health. And so that prompted him to like say, okay, I'm not, settling here. I'm going to keep pushing in these people that I know. I'm going to reach out to them. And again, not go right to, oh, you need to change your health, but reach out and just have that connection with them and let them know our story and stuff. And so that's kind of what's prompted me to do that. Cause I don't want to ever have somebody that I've been thinking about, like that's struggling with something, know that maybe I could have had that impact on them if I don't, share my story. So yeah, that's kind of, for me, it's really it's become a passion. It's become my mission to get people healthy and get people, seeing that there is so much more that maybe they're not seeing themselves. So, cause somebody took the chance to do that with me. And so now I'm paying it forward and helping other people. So.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I'm an extrovert. You're an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble balancing all of the things because you said you have a lot of, you're spinning a lot of plates.
Yes.
And you're also spinning a lot of relationships too.
Correct.
So how do you balance it all then? Because I struggle with balancing all the tasks with all the people stuff. And I'm an extrovert, and I think extroverts they have an easier time balancing a lot of relationships, but I feel like I'm starting to get maxed out.
It's hard. I will say one thing that we talked back to, talked about what, when I was a kid growing up on a farm, all the structured and the routines and stuff, and the work ethic. I think that's truly what helps me is like, I'm so structured in my day that like I block off everything. If you were to ever look at my calendar, it would be like literally wake up, my morning time, which is like, morning routine. I have personal development in the morning. I sit and read for 25, 30 minutes every morning, looking through social media, because that's how I do a lot of connecting with people. And then during the school year, about 6 o'clock, I start getting ready for work, drive to school. And on the way to school, like I'm listening to podcasts and I'm listening to more personal development, as, a lot of leadership stuff. Cause in my role, I'm a leader, both as the principal and with the coaching and stuff. And so do that. And then my school day is structured too. All my meetings are in there. And then when I get out of school, it's like, here's my gym time, here's my meal time, here's my, connecting with clients time, here's my connecting with coaches time, here's my connecting with mentors time, here's my me time. And, I set aside time every week to have like date nights, because again, you have to have all those things down. And so like Friday nights are our date nights. So that's after here, that's what we're doing. And so, and
where are you guys going tonight?
Oh, probably Big Grove and so on.
Okay.
That's one of our favorite places. It's so close. I mean, it's got, it's just a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
And, it's, and then on the weekends, it just depends on what goes on. There's always projects to do. So I think this weekend we're working on redoing some cabinets, and then in between there, I'll connect with people. So for me, it is very about being structured and very, it has to be in, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't get done. Like, and then even like in those times where I'm connecting with people, like I know exactly who I'm connecting with. I don't connect with every, So like, every Thursday night, for example, I do what I call client support. So I'm getting on the phone and calling on my clients. And I just, there's some that I do, every Thursday, there's some that I do every other Thursday. And so it's very structured, and that's how I roll, if you want to say, when it comes to like all that kind of stuff, is having things structured. Now I know people that do the same thing that don't have structure, that just, they can keep it all up here in their head and know where they needed to be and who they need to talk to and who this person is and who that person is. I can't do that because there's so many things that go on up here that I forget, and I like overlap and stuff. And so that's what helps me is the really structuring everything. And
it makes a lot of sense. And I never really thought about, because if it's not on my calendar, it does not get done. So my calendar is like, but I've never really thought about doing that with relationships too, like having dedicated I actually, there's a friend of mine, Karen, lives in Texas. And so I have, for every Monday morning, I'm supposed to call her. I haven't been because I like, to me, it's not like, like I even though I put it on the calendar, I don't treat it as if I put it on the calendar. It's like a reminder or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, when I get to it. Yeah. Which what I should do is just get to it. Yeah.
So. And that's the thing. Like I have reminders on there so that it comes off, and that's why it reminds me. I'm like, oh.
And then actually just do the thing.
Yeah. And it's, I used to dread my drive to and from work because it's about a half an hour one way, just where I live. It's not that far, but where I live to where I'm going, there's no easy direct route. It's stoplights, traffic, all that kind of stuff. And so I actually enjoy that time because, one, I'm doing personal development, or two, it's actually a time where I'm able to connect with a lot of people and just, catch up on what's going on, and stuff. And so, with the technology of Bluetooth and all that kind of stuff, I'm safe driver, I promise. So, I'm not like texting and stuff on the phone. I'm using my Bluetooth. So, but that's been actually a good time for me to connect with people and, catch up with family and all that kind of stuff. So.
Awesome. Okay. Last question. What are you reading these days?
So actually, I just finished the book this morning, Church Boy to Millionaire by Doug Woods, who's actually one of my mentors with the coaching and lifestyle thing that I do. But it's very, very awesome. I've got another one that is called, and this is the next one. I'm laughing because it's Get Over Your Damn Self. And so I'm pretty excited.
Who's the author of that?
Oh, I can never say her name, but it's it's about somebody that's, very similar, that started kind of her own like business and is just kind of had a lot of concepts and stuff. And, myself, I had a lot of concepts that I have to get over. And so it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get over my damn self and do it. So, but I've got a couple other ones. I got Leadership coming by John Maxwell, and
I'm reading a John Maxwell right now too. Failing Forward.
Yep, I haven't read that one, but I've heard John Maxwell is really good. And so, I'm trying to think what else I have that I've just recently finished. Highly Effective Habits of Highly Effective People. Okay. And again, I can't remember the guy's name, but I can see the book sitting right on my coffee table. So awesome. Yeah, reading has been a really like something I never used to like to do. And now it's like, I look forward to that time in the morning. So, yeah. I love reading, but I'm the kind of person that's like, I don't finish the thing. Well, I used to when I was a kid, but now, I should actually learn to be a speed reader. Go to like a class or something. Yeah. Because there's I keep buying all these books and then not finishing them. And see, a lot of people are like, do audiobooks, which I can listen to them, but I don't. I'm the one that has to like highlight. Yes. And I have to like make a quick note because if I hear it, like I'll hear it, but it goes right out. Yeah. But if I have it in front of me and I can make my note. Yep. That's why. And
you a visual learner?
I am. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I have to see it and be able to do it, and then like can visualize it and like write things down.
Which is really, visual learners are kind of, at least I'm kind of funny in this. Like when I'm telling stories, I'm like, well, I was driving down First Avenue and I was over by and then I had this thought. Yeah. And people are probably like, why do I need to know where you were at and what you were looking at when you were on this phone call or had this conversation or anything like that? It's well, but that's how I remember stuff. So
me too. And like I always tell people, like, get to the point. And I'm like, well, I am getting to the point. But this stuff is part of it. And as if you see the recording of this, like the actual visual stuff, you see that I'm very this is part of my visual, like I did this, like, and so it's people like, I think sometimes in meetings I'll have to be like, okay, I have to hold my hands because it's like people get distracted by my hands doing the talking, but that's just part of who I am.
Awesome. So. Okay, so if anyone wants to get some coaching advice from you, where do they find you at?
So 3 big ways. You can find me on my social media, which is just Joe Divoky at Facebook. I have an Instagram account. I'm working on my Instagram. Okay. That's, I'm trying to master one before I go to the other. Yes. But then you can always email me just at joe.divoky, and that's DIVOKY @gmail.com. Or you can always just reach me on my cell phone, 319-331-6657.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Joe.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad we got reconnected and we were able to do this. It's been fun.
Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait to put this on there because we never really hung out in high school. No. So
It's fun. It's fun to like reconnect with people, especially people that, like you said, maybe you didn't really hang out with much in high school. And I was saying earlier too that, you know, we came from a class of 60 some people. Like it was not huge at all.
No.
And so, which is very unfortunate that we didn't hang out together, you know, just as all of us as a class. So yeah,
it was. Yeah, I know. But I, you know, we did grow up like it. I felt like we had a perfect class size because we weren't in each other's business all the time.
It's true.
But we still knew a lot about each other. Yeah. Because of a smaller class size. So I felt like I knew you just because Stacy and I were so close, and I'd hear all the stories and.
I always say only hopefully the good ones, because there were some good ones, but there was also some not good ones.
Well,
live and learn, right?
Stacy has her own stories too.
Yes.
I kind of mommed her a little bit in high school.
We could probably write a book about all of our stories. You know, all of us.
We should stuff. At our 20th reunion. We'll What we should do is have everybody on the podcast sometime.
That would be
not everyone, but you know, like
yes,
you need to start a podcast.
I would love to. That's kind of what got this conversation going.
It is.
Yeah.
So everyone join. Hey, Solonites, Spartans.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to be on my podcast, and you need to come and be on Joe's podcast.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. We can dominate the podcast market.
Well, thanks for being on, Joe.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
And we will see you guys later. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our channels, and share us with anyone that would be interested in marketing. So talk to you later. Bye.